Welcome to Gaza on the Line with Palestine Chronicle TV. Let's start from one of the most urgent issues. In Gaza, famine is spreading and Israel is implementing a harsh policy of starvation. Ramzy, is the Gaza Pier an American conspiracy or a genuine push for ending the famine?
It's an American conspiracy. And we can say that. I mean, at the Palestine Chronicle, you're the managing editor. You understand that we do not give any space or platforms for conspiracies. We only report on things when they are solid, when we have information, and when we can clarify this information. But in this particular incident, I can tell you it's a conspiracy. And the logical basis for that claim is this. Since the start of this war over 5 months ago, Washington has done everything in its power to stand by Israel, for Israel, to defend Israel, and was involved in every possible way, indirectly but also directly. American forces were, they claimed that they were not on the ground. They were on the ground. We have all sorts of information suggesting that indeed, including by Aaron Bushnell, by the way, the American soldier who sacrificed himself to raise awareness of the situation in Gaza, and others, including the Palestinians themselves in Gaza. The Americans are actually on the ground. The Delta Force in particular, Americans are using their satellites, technologies, their intelligence. They are using drones. They are using everything in their power. So the Americans are very much involved in this war, right? And they, as of a couple of days ago, we just learned that the Americans have sent over 100 shipments of weapons to Israel. Israel and the U.S. only announced two of them, but 100 of them have been leaked, have of shipments going to Israel. So Israel, the United States, is killing Palestinians. I mean, let's be very clear on this. And I know some people are maybe scared, maybe they are, trying not to, feel intimidated by the power of such a statement. But the Americans are killing Palestinians in Gaza. Okay, so Gaza is at war with Israel, the United States, and by extension, the America's Western allies in Europe. Britain, Italy, France, and others who are all participating in all forms of intelligence and supplies and all of that. Oh, let's not forget Germany. Germany is very much on the side of Israel and very much involved in this war. So, why would, after all of these things, why would the United States come and say the only option for the aid is through the pier in Gaza? It doesn't make sense because you already have the Rafah crossing. You already have the Karim Abu Salim crossing. You already have the Eretz checkpoint crossing. And you would say, well, because the United States cannot pressure Israel, yes, they can easily. If the US wants to provide Gaza with aid, they could easily do it. It's not going to be a big deal and they can manage it without a problem. But why are they not wanting to do that? Simple. Number one, they want to deprive Egypt of the initiative. They don't want Egypt to be part of this debate. They want the entire thing, the fate of Gaza, to be determined entirely by Israel and the United States and their allies. And this is why van der Leyen, you know, don't want to swear, but van der Leyen, who has been more Zionist than the Zionists since the beginning, jumped on top of this and is already coordinating with Cyprus to be the ones, where the sea caravan or the sea convoy is going to be going with aid and to save Gazans. Why is van der Leyen excited about this? Why the British excited about this? Why the very people who were cheering for Israel to carry out the genocide in Gaza are the most excited about it, including Cyprus itself? Now, here's a little caveat about Cyprus that I think is really, really important. And that is in 1982, when the United States was working under the leadership of Philip Habib, the American envoy in Lebanon at the time, were working to destroy the Palestinian resistance in Lebanon, along with Israel. Where did they want to send the Palestinians? To Cyprus. To Cyprus. That was the idea. They say you go to Cyprus first and then you can go to Tunisia or somewhere else. So Cyprus has always been at the radar of being this hub of pushing Palestinians out of somewhere to somewhere else. Cyprus is back. Cyprus is excited to play this role. The Americans are on top of this and all of this. One thing that I think is really quite interesting about what Biden said yesterday in the State of the Union address. He said, and the American speechwriter wrote it without actually thinking that there are some people who are smart enough to understand the nuances of America. And he said, don't worry, there will be no boots on the ground. No boots on the ground. What does it mean? Are you at war with Gaza? Have you internalized that you are at war in Gaza? You're supposed to be a humanitarian mission, floating hospitals, food, milk for the children. Why would you even bring up the whole boots on the ground? Because in the American psyche, they know that they are fighting a war against Gaza. So they want to keep Gaza completely under the total American and Israeli control and dependence in terms of aid. They want the Arabs out of this completely. They don't want them to be any point of pressure on Israel, not to evacuate Gazans or not to displace and ethnically cleanse Gazans. But let's try to imagine this scenario. The aid has arrived, the pier is there. You're going to have hundreds of thousands of Palestinians rushing there. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, people are starving. If I was living in Gaza and my family is in Gaza, and I know the first thing they are going to do, people are going to run there on foot, on cars, and on the back of, donkey trucks. I mean, they are going to all go there in order for them to fetch as much aid as possible to survive because they are dying, because it's famine. They're starving, right? Then you are going to have all of these camps around that area, which is the old port of Gaza that Israel has bombed repeatedly in previous wars. They are going to all create camps. Now the Americans are going to come and say, listen, we are ready to start sending the wounded out. We are ready to send the families of the wounded. And by the way, we're also ready to send any Palestinians who want to leave. Guess what? That's displacement. They want to displace the Palestinians. And they want to have that card. Now, I'm not saying that the entire plan has actualized, but I think it's the first step in something. And you know how the Americans are. They study all possibilities here. So they are thinking we are going to regain the initiative. We are going to become a pressure point on the Palestinians negotiating a ceasefire. We're going to bring all the Palestinians together in a specific part of Gaza, and this way emptying north of Gaza, which Israel has desperately tried to empty since the beginning of the war. We're going to do all of these things, and we're going to have so much leverage, and then we're going to sense the situation. If the Palestinians are ready to leave, we're going to take a few hundred thousands out, which is what Ben Gvir wanted, what Smotrich wanted, what Netanyahu wanted. This is it. This is not about, oh, there's a disagreement between Biden and Netanyahu. There's no disagreements. They're playing these cards, and the Palestinians are going to pay the price for it. We are not aware of it, and we don't stop it, and we don't lobby against it immediately.
Yes, and finally, Ramsey, just a very quick question. Are they gonna succeed? Do you think they will succeed, or do you think that Palestinians are gonna prove once and again that their resilience is, superior and that they're not
What,
gonna?
what gives me hope is that the Americans and the Israelis are acting out of desperation, which is different. This is the first time in history where they are dealing with these kind of situations out of desperation. They are trying to kind of deal with a situation. They don't want the resistance to win. They don't want Palestinians to claim any kind of victory, but they have no path to victory themselves. So, because of this, I have a lot of hope. What I think is really interesting is that Abu Ubaidah today gave a speech. And in the speech, he did not mention the Pierre. He did not. Why? That's a really, really big question mark, and we need to try to create possible answers. I think they are trying to develop a strategy of how to deal with this situation. I think they are trying to create a sharp political analysis, put it within larger context, see how they can use it or fight it back. But I think if the Palestinians reach the point where they feel that that PR is indeed a first step towards the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, then I think they will immediately conjure up a way to stop it. They're smart and they have been doing this since the beginning of the war. Every time Israel throws a curveball their way, they always find a way to hit it back of the field. And I don't think that this will be an exception. But we have to be very aware of the sinister plans by Biden, who has played the dirtiest, nastiest role in all of this. Beware when Americans are bearing gifts, because the intention is never good.